Hey y'all, welcome to my garden. I spent the entire day yesterday going through, cutting back, clearing out, and making room for some new, fresh things. And let me tell you, my garden needed it. So let me show you what got decluttered. Y'all know when it's time. And first up in the declutter, tithonia, or Mexican sunflower, because when it gets older, it gets ugly. And as long as you've got new coming up, the old's gotta go. Let me show you my pile. So I'm currently, and sorry you can hear my air conditioner because it's right beside me, and it's over 90 degrees, so I doubt that it's ever gonna go off today. But this is a pile of tithonia that I pulled out, and it was all growing back up here in this area of my garden. And as much as the butterflies loved it, it kind of wore out its usefulness. Looking like this. Some of them were completely dead. Others had a little bit of life left in them. So now I'm back on the other side looking at that same space in my garden. And when I come around the bend here, I have such better access to my 2 wild limes. There's another wild lime coming in right there, and look how small it is because it was completely buried by the tithonia. And I decided to finally put my giant milkweed in the ground. And I'm not upset about not having the tithonia back there anymore, because even though butterflies absolutely loved it and flocked all over that tithonia, it was very hard for me to get back there and film them because I would get poked by the wild lime, which has thorns, and it was just really crowded and hard to get access to it. I would prefer my Mexican sunflower to be growing out in my main garden, where I can get all around it at different angles to capture images of the gorgeous butterflies that visit my garden. So I'm glad it's out of there, and I have plenty more coming back in other spots of my garden. Like right here is my garden chair, and look what's coming up right behind it. A tithonia, or Mexican sunflower. And I can kick back my gravity chair and recline, and I'll be able to look up and see anyone who decides to visit that flower or the other flowers that are about to bloom. I also have more coming up here, and here, and here, and here, and all of those are central in my garden. So when they start blooming, it's going to be amazing. I also did a little decluttering right here in my butterfly haven. Some of the plants that are in the enclosures needed to move out and regrow. And the corner where the maypop's all growing up was looking, I guess you could say, cluttered of maypop. I don't consider too much maypop to be cluttered, but the weight of it was causing the butterfly haven to hang down. So I don't know if it really fits as a declutter, but I just wanted to show you what I did to fix it. I brought in this old shepherd's hook, and I just stood it up, and the high hook presses up against the top of the butterfly haven, and it's really doing a nice job holding the maypop up as it grows more and gets heavier. And if it spreads throughout, I can do the same and add more shepherd's hooks as needed. So I'm kind of glad I figured that out. It is getting a little droopy in here. This is my Woolly Dutchman's pipevine enclosure. I moved them all in here. Right now they're growing because I currently don't have any caterpillars. I thought, well, why not just put them all in the enclosure ready to go? They get good sunlight in here, and I can keep a better eye on them. Before, they were up in the potting treehouse. And then in here were completely eaten back little stems that needed to regrow. And so I decluttered them and moved them out to my garden workspace where they can regrow. And then for this enclosure, there was a wild black cherry tree, which I also have in another enclosure, and I really don't need two enclosures with them. So I pulled that one out to let it regrow. It didn't really need to be decluttered because I love it. It just needed to be moved out because it didn't serve a purpose here. And now I have some corky stem passion vine and a couple of maypops growing. And I have a few little Gulf fritillary caterpillars in here. I also have this dill that I grew from seed that has a few eggs on it. So I just put the whole pot in here. And then there's also a bronze fennel for them in case they decide to eat all the dill, which they probably will. And it's there as a backup plant. So remember a few videos ago, this space right here was all overgrown. This is the walkway back to my Dutchman's pipe vine. Well, this walkway used to go all the way around and out. Oh, look, here's look, here's more. Look at these. They're hidden back here. More tithonia coming up. Oh, that'll be fabulous in that location. So I kind of have to bend it down to walk through here because my sweet almond is blooming, and every time I touch it, sprinkles the little white flowers in my hair. So next time you see me, I might have the little white flowers in my hair. And there you can see Ray sneaking around in the background. But it used to come out over here, and it was all overgrown. So I cleared all that out yesterday. Oh, look, there's my red trash can. What does that say on there? Oh, subscribe, like, and subscribe. Well, you know what to do. So here we are on the other side of the entrance. So what had happened was this fire bush is very happy here. And it was like, had all these branches that kind of came and curved over. It was covering these pentas and my blueberry. They were completely covered. So I trimmed them all up and back, and now my blueberry is happy getting sun, as are these pentas. There was border grass that came over to here, and the penta there was a penta there that I dug up and moved, and between that and the border grass, that moved the entrance to here, which there was no space. Now you can see there's still some weeds that need to be pulled, but now I can walk all the way through. It's completely decluttered. Everybody over here is getting sunshine. The fire bush is still gorgeous and popular as ever. It's just not taking over the whole space. And I can get access back here to my sweet almond tree that I've shaped into this fabulous shape that I love. I'll be able to take photos of anybody who lands on these two tithonias that we just found together back here. I just noticed when they flower. And I can get back here just to do some maintenance, trimming, whatever needs to be done. Another area that I decluttered is right along here in front of the butterfly haven. You might recall a few videos back, I kind of went a little crazy and pulled out a lot of my sage that was just coming up everywhere. Well, in one of my main nectar gardens behind me, there was this big empty circle kind of in the middle. And there were some pots of zinnias and tithonia growing up along here, that the flowers were still beautiful, but the bottoms of the plants were really leggy, and there was a lot of crispy brown leaves, and it just wasn't pretty to look at. There was also a potted privet senna and partridge pea in here that the pentas actually were taller than, and so they weren't getting as much sun as they wanted. So I took the pots and I staked everything up, made it all pretty, and I put the 3 of them right down here. So there you can see is one of the tithonia, where you don't really see the bottom of it, but you see the gorgeous top. Here's the privet senna and the partridge pea, all up getting nice sun. And the zinnias are clustered right here. Now look at all the buds. These are like super tall zinnias. Look at the buds. What is that? You go away. Look at the buds. So these are all going to be blooming, and even though the bottom of this plant, look at what the bottom of it looks like. You see all that? Yeah, nobody wants to see that. But when it's surrounded by my pentas and porterweed, you just see the top. And when those bloom, it's going to be gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Another thing that needed a massive decluttering was this walkway right here behind me. And it wasn't long ago I was filming getting this cleaned out and putting the pine bark down. Remember, I had the cardboard walkway there? I finally got more pine bark to finish the cardboard, but since that time my split leaf had all grown out over, and I couldn't walk through there without having to push it all out of the way. So now we are nicely decluttered. I can walk all the way through here, and I do not touch a single split leaf. I do love my split leaf philodendron, and let me tell you something. The butterflies, I will notice, will go sit on it. And what I think they are doing is these leaves hold water. And when the water evaporates, the minerals get left behind. And I think that the butterflies are getting the minerals like what they would get from a puddling station from these leaves. So that's a fabulous thing. Also, they hold water, so it's great for your pollinators. So I love having this. I love the tropical look of it. It just needs decluttered a lot. And this walkway here, the same. Not only were the leaves overgrowing into the walkway, but this maypop passion vine right here was all sprawling out also. So look who's right there. Look at that booger. He's probably looking for eggs to eat or baby caterpillars. Get off there. Okay. So I added another trellis piece and got all that tamed up over it, and we're looking so much better. I can walk through this whole section, and it's quite lovely, and I don't have to push anything out of the way. And y'all, that wasn't the only maypop that needed tamed, reined in, and decluttered. The maypop behind me was trying to grow all into my red pentas, as I left off on one of my last videos. So I did do what I said I was going to do and add some trellis pieces and get it tamed. So here we are on the back side of the red penta garden, and all of this maypop that is now coming across here to that trellis was growing out into all of that out there. It was wrapped around my goldenrods that are coming up there. And this whole tithonia was knocked over. And so I've got it staked up and standing up again. I'm actually going to, in a minute, add another trellis piece right here. And then I'll just have to make sure that I maintain this maypop. This is the Passiflora incense. It's not the native, it's the hybrid. But hopefully I'll maintain it and it'll be happy growing along the back and quit trying to take over my pentaspace. And that, my friends, is the end of this declutter video. I don't think there's anything else I really cleaned up or cleared out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please take a moment and tap the like button to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already a subscriber, subscribe to my channel. And if you have friends you think might enjoy this video as well, you can share it to them by sending it in a text or sharing it on your Facebook, or I don't know, however else you share things. I hope y'all having a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.